Plurality, Chapter 6, Saved by the Bell. Kai was there looking like a turnip, and I felt like I was suffocating and going to pass out. The plasma was expanding all around the whole ship, and the portholes were glowing bright red and orange. All of a sudden, the climate controls came back online. The air became breathable, and I regained all my cognizance and composure. I reached for the joystick, and it was hot to the touch. I couldn't care, as we needed to survive. My hands were sizzling, and the pain was unbearable. But if I needed to be hurt to live, so be it. The heat shields fully kicked in, and the control panel lit up. I wasn't sure of when to turn the engines on because I didn't want to destabilize the descent pattern. John? I looked up from the controls and saw the peak of a mountain. I flipped on the engines to 100% thrust, and we barely avoided crashing. I turned on the autopilot and took my hands off the joystick. They were severely burnt, and Kai went to grab the nanobots to heal the burns. I took out the canister and opened it. I put my hands in one at a time, and after 10 minutes, my hands were fully back to normal. I looked down and didn't know where we were. I turned on the GPS, and it showed that we were somewhere in Europe. I didn't remember the sun blinking out of existence. The heat of the earth was going to dwindle down and down. Kai, how much power do we have left? He looked at the power bank on the side of the wall. Then he tapped it a few times, and the dial went from 100 to 99%. We need to land and conserve power now. There was a small town that stood out because the lights were on. It was in a valley next to a large mountain, and the snow was falling hard all around us. Finally touched down a bit, and it was a rather abrupt and rough landing. Looked over at Kai, and he just started to laugh a bit. That was insane. I'm a human now, when I was just an AI in your head. The most important thing, we need to find out what happened and where we were. How would I tell him what I saw? I know. The ship had cameras that recorded both audio and video outside the ship. It was mostly for finding out what went wrong in disaster or exploration. Kai, you're going to want to watch this. I pulled up the recording, and he watched as the universe died around us, and the fractals and the light, the damn light. John, where the hell are we?